Hi everyone, Mike Price here with Community Pioneer in Shelley today. Behind me is Dean Goodsell Elementary School. Throughout this last year, it's been undergoing a series of renovations to become a kindergarten center, as well as hosting other students. Recently, members of the Shelley community have expressed concerns that kindergartners will be mingling with high school students. We talked to Superintendent Chad Williams about the concerns. Here's what he had to say. So tell me about the bond and the plans for Goodsell.
So we budgeted $1.7 million out of the bond to make Goodsell Elementary be a kindergarten center. And we also had plans to use it on a short-term basis as an alternative school, which is our Shelley Workplace Academy. Historically, our alternative school kids, we would throw on a bus and transport them to Blackfoot. We only had about a dozen or so kids that were doing that, and we felt like we could better service our students if we hosted our own alternative school, which we call Shelley Workplace Academy.
Okay.
Anyhow, in this process, it has exploded, and we have about 40 kids that are attending the Work-Based Academy now.
Okay, so tell me about the Work-Based Academy. Who are these kids that are in this?
So ultimately, I think through COVID has proven that traditional schools meet the needs of a high percentage of the kids, but not all of them. And so when we have kids that are at a traditional high school and they're not having success, we try to put them in a different scenario, somewhere where you don't go from period 1, period 2, period 3. All alternative schools are a little bit different, as is Shelley Work-Based. So they're kids that a traditional high school atmosphere or schedule just didn't work for them.
So are these kids with disciplinary issues, kids that are possibly suspended or even kicked out of school?
So I would say, first of all, getting kicked out of school, when you say that, we're talking about expulsion.
Yeah.
In my entire educational career, I've only been a part of one expulsion, and I think it was for a 5th grader, it seems like. We don't want to kick kids out of school. We want kids in school. So if I was summarizing it, it's just a student who is at a traditional school and it just doesn't work for them. They don't have success. And so this is a chance for us to try to help them find some success.
Okay. So since these plans have been made public and they've never been a secret, it's been out there, there's recently been a lot of concern about the possibility of high school kids, even alternative school high school students, mingling with kindergarten kids. And as a parent myself, I would be a little concerned as well.
Understood. I was previously a principal at the high school at Ryrie. And when I first showed up, they said, okay, you're going to be the 9-12 principal and the pre-K 1st grade principal. And so I'm like, I'm probably going to be the only principal ever that did this, because I hadn't heard of it before. And they said, hey, when we made this switch, there was a lot of concern. Make sure it goes smoothly. And to tell you the truth, when we ultimately did it, it was great. It went smoothly, and there weren't any problems. For sure, there were concerns originally. And a lot of that had to do with just separation. And so that's why I brought us back here. This is somewhere in this area. This hallway down here is going to be the Shelley Work-Based Academy. And this hallway, which we're going to continue to walk down, is going to be the kindergarten center. And somewhere in this area is going to be a fire barrier, which is going to serve also as a barrier between the two schools, between the two hallways.
Okay, and so right down here, we've got your offices. This is where the principal will be. And so where would these kids run into each other, if at all?
So nothing has been finalized on decisions. Like that fire barrier, we're going to decide where that goes after the legislative session. To see, right now the governor is proposing that we have enough budget for all-day kindergarten. If that happens, we'll talk to the board, see if we're going to offer all-day kindergarten. That's going to determine that. Also, here in the next couple of weeks, my kindergarten teacher is going to come over here, and if you want to know anyone that's going to take care of their kindergarten kids, it's going to be the kindergarten teachers. And so I'm going to get their input on where are the kids going to enter, where are they going to leave. I anticipate we're going to have separate entryways if we back up here just a little bit. I anticipate that the Shelley Work-Based Academy kids are probably going to enter down there. The kindergarten kids, I don't know if they're going to enter in this hallway right here where the principal's office was, or if There's another entry down there where we might have the kindergartners enter. I've had discussions with the transportation department to see the best place for drop-off and pickup. So none of these really decisions have been made yet.
Right.
I also have a parent advisory committee that I'll bring and get their input so we can make final decisions. I'm glad we're talking about it now 9 months, or about 9 months in advance, I guess. If I was going to say when are they going to answer your question, where are they going to cross paths, I would say probably right here. Is there going to be a time with the principal's office down here, is there going to be a time where a kindergartner is coming down for whatever reason and a Shelley Workplace Academy student is coming down also for whatever reason? For sure. I think that's going to be the time when they cross paths. Bathrooms are going to be separate, schedules are going to be separate, lunches are going to be separate, playground's going to be separate. I just don't really see any other time where they're going to cross paths, to tell you the truth.
Okay, so tell me about the principal. Who would this person be? And we're thinking this would be one person over both kindergarten and high school.
And the Shelley Workplace Academy. I don't know. I actually, I've discussed it with Miss Ellswood, who's the current kindergarten teacher, or excuse me, principal. And I've discussed it with Mr. Messick, who is the current Work-Based Academy principal, and we're meeting next week to discuss it further. It may be one of them, and I probably won't make a decision until after the legislative session, because if the governor's budget goes through, we will probably be in a position where we might even hire another principal or another admin to help out.
So for this principal, you coming from a background of having experience with this, of having young kids and high school students sharing a building, what are some of the unique challenges that the principal would need to be able to handle?
Well, when I was the principal, I always said, well, if I want to really feel good about myself and get a boost, I go down the kindergarten hallway. And if I want to be challenged a little bit, jokingly, I'd go down the high school hallway. But no, the challenge is ultimately they're just different. When the bell rings and you have kindergartners, you have to go hold their hand and say, hey, come on, let's go back into class. And with the high schoolers, probably have to be a little more demanding at times, I guess. Just different age kids. By all means, still good kids, though. Every grade level has their strengths and their uniqueness, for sure.
So how do you prepare a student body like this for the unthinkable? Say someone brings in a weapon. And how do you prepare for that?
So, just like we do right now. We have our safety protocols and we have our practices. If I was summarizing how we practice how to leave, which we call fire drills. We practice how to lock ourselves in, which we call lockdowns. And ultimately, if you know how to practice a lockdown and you know how to exit, then you're going to use those two strategies pretty much for every scenario.
So, is there a way for these concerned parents to voice their concerns right now? We're trying to address many of them, but there's definitely going to be other questions out there than what we're talking about today.
Oh, for sure. Listen, I would invite anyone to reach out to me, email me, call me. If they email me, I'll call them and talk to them about it. By all means, they're always welcome to come to board meeting. We have board meeting the third Thursday of every month. And so that they can be heard. We want their input, and we want to make the best decision possible.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Chad. I appreciate it. We'll get this information out there.
You bet. And I just want to go out and thank the Community Pioneer and Mike and Jeff, because it's my goal to be as transparent as possible at all times, and you all help me accomplish that. I'm always an open book. And I try to put everything online, but sometimes it's hard to find things online, but try to be as transparent as possible. So thanks for helping me with that.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.